Hi, I'm Matt Blair of the Minnesota Vikings. This is a buddy of mine, Leland Peterson. Take out for a pass, man. See if we can get you one.
Leland is one of the many young people involved with the Urban League's employment training program. With the help of volunteers like Matt Blair, the Urban League gives youngsters like Leland career training and counseling at workshops like this one. United Way agencies provide services to minorities as they serve the whole community. And United Way supports minority agencies like the Urban League.
Successful trainees, but we have a whole group here.
You know, as a United Way volunteer, I've seen it work. Here they receive ability testing, training, evaluation, and job placement.
That's got it. It's working.
That's right. Thanks to the Urban League, it's working for people like Leland. And thanks to people like you through your support of the United Way, it's working for all of us, the United Way.
The preceding message was furnished by the National Football League. Dan Fouts has the information. He has a second down and 19, a minute 56 left in the first half.
He may have gotten a couple of plays from the sideline there to fight this 2-minute clock. Let's see what happens.
This is the kind of team where a minute 56 can seem like a long time if you're on defense.
Especially if you're throwing the football.
The line of scrimmage to 37. They need to make it to the 18.5 for a first down. Fouts, only one running back. Muncie going for the far corner. Chandler out of bounds. Chandler was out of bounds. What a remarkable effort on his part. Walt Williams defending on the play.
Chandler.
Do we have an aerial circus?
Let's see what we have here. We see Doug Martin coming in on a stunt with Duck White. He's double teamed here. Fouts just dumps the ball out here deep. Boy, it's a long pass, isn't it?
A long time coming.
I can't believe it. And Chandler, what a great play. I don't care if he was in or out. That's a great play. Here's another angle at it. Let's see where his feet is. His foot is down. I don't know. I think he was out of bounds. That's a good call.
Good pictures by director Bob Dunphy, and now it comes to 3rd and 19. Be a long field goal if they had to go from here. Over the middle, Chandler. Oh, is he hit? And I don't know if he got the first down. He was just about there when the impact was made by Tom Hannon. Chandler getting up, and he is really shaking on the play.
He took a good pop. It's also important if you're going for your first down to make sure you see where those yard markers are. Ground level of Fouts. Right over into Chandler. They're going to get hot, I think, here pretty soon. Takes a good pop from Tommy Hannon. Well, he's a great athlete, has great range, and he's a good tackler.
Chandler would go off, but the big story is whether they got the first down. They did. They got it by about the half of the length of a football. So instead of being 4th down, it's first down with a minute 36 left in the first half. Chandler showing he's pretty courageous on that. Outs with a lot of time, really, the way he operates. A minute 20 from the 17-yard line. 14-all is our score. Joyner in motion and a mix-up. Everybody firing off. Flags going everywhere. Who's it against?
Chuck Muncie's clapping. He thinks it's against the defense. Let's see.
Preliminary signal.
Start. Offense, number 14.
Now Dan Fouts will have 5 yards stepped off against him. Now Bernershka, if you're thinking field goals, hit 5 of 7, and his longest thus far has been 52. The penalties, that's 43 yards now against San Diego. Minnesota's had only 1 penalty for 10 yards.
I tell you,
look at this. Detroit has taken the lead over Denver 21-17. Detroit, of course, could really help San Diego. And looking at that ball game, Alvin Hall with a 55-yard interception return for a touchdown has given the Lions the lead. First down, 15. Fouts wide open, Winslow. Winslow to the 10, a flag on the play. Winslow out of bounds at the 3, but a penalty flag. Oh, is he tough to bring down? That's 6'6", 242.
Boy, Kellen is a load.
Minnesota indicating it's against San Diego. And that's what it is. 2 very costly penalties.
I think that may be against Kellen for pushing off again. I'm not sure, but I think it might be. They're watching him now. It'll be interesting to see if Fouts goes back to him.
I'm sure some defensive player has brought it to the attention of the official, and they are watching for it.
Sure. As long as you do it politely, they like that.
Politely.
When you ask them to look at my man, would you say, would you please watch my man from punching my face in? If you do it politely, they like you for it.
You got to say please.
Yes.
Boy, this crowd unhappy now. Mike cutting out, but it is against Winslow. Brings it out to the 32, where now it's 1st and 25. A minute 3 left in this first half. What a first half we've had.
That's okay. 1st and 25, they like that.
Gives them a little more room to operate. Fouts over the middle, complete to the 15-yard line. And that'll be Dwight Scales with the catch. And now they're going to stop the clock with 57 seconds.
You know, here's Fouts. He's not shy. He's going right back over the middle again. He's got a lot of time to do it, too. See, he gets this much time in here. Look at Duck White. He gets that much time in there, they're going to move the football. He's not shy. He goes right in under the coverage, right to Dwight Scales. Dwight Scales, there was a couple of words earlier about him in his career about not being able to go over the middle or not wanting to go over the middle. He'll catch the football if it's thrown over there.
Boy, they have a lot of players from the Rams. Scales, I think of in particular. Wyatt Henderson playing for San Diego. A lot of your ex-teammates. Leroy Jones.
Well, there's a lot of great athletes, but only 45 spots on the roster.
Now, San Diego has 2 timeouts left. They have a 2nd down and 8. 3 timeouts left for Minnesota. The ball at the 15-yard line, 57 seconds. I thought you made a very interesting point. When it's 1st and 25, Dan Faust just has a little more field to work with.
That's the way Coryell looks at it. He doesn't care where he is on the field. It doesn't make a difference if he has 10 yards to go or 45 yards to go. The fact is, he's going to make up the yardage by throwing the football. He'd just soon do it down here as way back in his own territory.
Boy, when Don is relaxed, he's really a joy to be around. He was yesterday, but at game day, forget it.
You better pick your spots when you approach Don.
He was very, very open yesterday. He spent a lot of time with us, but look at him now. I wouldn't want to get in his way right now.
Now he's in deep concentration right now.
2nd down coming up. They can get a 1st and goal at the 7th. Joyner, Dwight Scales split out. Winslow at the tight end spot. 2 timeouts left for the Chargers. Bounce, pressure, broken up, almost intercepted. Tommy Hannon had it. That would have been his 3rd interception of the year. And that lets them off the hook. They're still alive and well.
You know what San Diego did? You can't see it here, unfortunately, on television, but what they did, Dan sends everybody. Look at Chuck Muncie coming through here, the broken hand and all. He's going to be a pass receiver. They sent everybody who's capable of catching a pass out into the end zone. That's the type of offense they've got down here.
Oh, that's like sandlot football.
Oh, go out. The rest of you guys stay back and block.
That took only 6 seconds. 51 remaining. 3rd down. They need to get the 1st down. The 1st and goal now. On a 3rd and 9. Fouts complete to Joyner. Joyner's not going to get that 1st down. They're going to have to settle for the field goal. That'll bring up 4th down. The Vikings, with the help of 2 penalties, able to stall this drive.
Curtin Off came up and made a nice play on that, keeping Joyner out of that end zone. I tell you, San Diego is so impressive in their thinking, the way they think and the way they attack the field is so remarkable. Again, they sent everybody out into the end zone. They sent everybody except for Joyner out there.
This will be a 31-yard attempt. Bernurska 5 of 7. They're letting the clock run, so they won't give the Vikings any time after this field goal attempt. 10 seconds. 31 yards away. Bernurska and the Chargers have not taken the lead. That ball was wide of the mark. Rolf Bernurska, which is kind of a chip shot for him, but he didn't get it.
I'm really surprised. That's the easy pickings for Rolf. Well, we all miss him, don't we?
So the drive was stalled. The Vikings come out without giving up any points. And just before the end of the first half, that's got to give them a lift.
Yeah, you know, that snap from center and the holder of this guy, that's Ed Luther, the quarterback. That combination right there is very, very important. I was watching before the game, and that takes an awful lot of technique and art to be able to have that whole thing coordinated.
Well, he's a new holder. They used to have Mike Fuller, And Ed Luther is now the man. It looked like the hold and the snap was good, but the kick was not. And that is going to bring us to the close of a very entertaining first half of play. The score here at Jack Murphy San Diego Stadium, all even, 14-all. As these two division leaders have come out here, they have thrown the football, and they put on quite a show.
He's walking, yes indeed, a dingo man down to his feet. I'm hoping that he'll walk up to me. How you gonna stop him if he walks on by? I'll follow him till I catch his eye. He's independent and he sure is tall. The dingo man, he's got it all. He's walking, yes indeed, a dingo man down to his feet. I'm hoping that he'll walk up to me.
Dingo boots. Get in step.
Hey, make a love light for the winning team, okay? You guys should do that for us.
Would a bunch of guys really go at it this hard just for a beer? Well, consider it's Michelob Light, and that means a rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
You guys never played like that before.
Hey, we never played for a Michelob Light before.
Michelob Light. Compare the taste.
A lot of us in the Friendly Skies grew up in Hawaii. We make our homes here. And with United's condominium vacations, you can too. Come live on the 9th green at Wailea, or make your backyard on the ocean. Go native in a jungle hideaway. Get a place for the two of you or a house full of you at a price you can afford. Even if it's only for a week, make your home in our little corner of the world.
Fly the Friendly Skies.
Ask your travel agent for United's Privacy in Paradise brochure.
Coming up on CBS Sports, next Saturday, the U.S. National Gymnastics Championships. See America's best in men's and women's individual competition. In 3 weeks, they meet face-to-face to settle a rivalry that has been brewing since the '76 Olympics as Sean O'Grady takes on Howard Davis. Then, 1 week later, Michael Spinks makes his first title defense as he faces Vonzell Johnson for the WBA Light Heavyweight Championship. Be a part of the action here on CBS Sports.
Welcome back to the news desk in New York. You know, when Boom Boom Mancini fought WBC lightweight champion Alexis Arguello on CBS Sports Saturday last week, all of our pre-fight publicity centered around Boom Boom. And I think we were unfair, because as Pat O'Brien explains, not only does Arguello boast a 72-4 record, but his own story is as moving as Boom Boom's.
This was to be Ray Mancini's day, a 20-year-old newcomer with a shot at the title and the fulfillment of a family dream. For Alexis Arguello, it was a big day as well. His 16th title fight and a chance to satisfy some lifelong dreams of his own.
I have in my mind, still have in my mind when my father told me with a lot of tears in his eyes, I can do nothing, you know, you have to start working, you have to start helping me because I have a big economic problem, and I say, Jesus, I have to do something. In the beginning, I have my mind to be an engineer, doctor.
Overhand right.
I am smart, but the best thing I can do is boxing.
In this fight, he landed a big one. He's hurt badly this time. Down he goes.
Ray Mancini found that out the hard way, roughly halfway through round 14 last week, when Arguello showed him how a champion with 3 different titles wins in the ring. And when it was over, Arguello showed Mancini something else, that he was in victory a perfect gentleman.
That's what we're talking about. Ray Mancini. I love your father. That's the most beautiful thing you have, like I have my father. Take good care of you. You're going to be a good promise. And I promise, if I can do something for you, let me know, please. Thank you.
Fathers, dads, play a pretty big part in this story. Ray Mancini fighting for the title his father never got. And Alexis Arguello, whose family was torn apart as quickly as Nicaragua was in the recent civil war there. Indeed, a brother was killed. Arguello is now in exile here in Miami, but his father is still in Nicaragua. And unlike Ray Mancini's dad, Arguello Sr. doesn't have the joy of seeing his son fight. But even from afar, his father remains an inspiration, and Alexis is passing along the strong family ties he learned from Dad to his son.
Main thing is I'm going to give you a good education.
Yeah,
Indeed, Arguello wants his family to have everything he didn't have, starting businesses, investing his money properly, because he remembers his brother-in-law in Nicaragua, who might have been champion.
When he started making good money, he's get crazy. He buy a lot of cars. He start drinking. He start hitting women in the street. He start fighting with everybody. It's a good man. I don't want to be that way.
The WBC lightweight champion, Alexei Arguello. Arguello.
Pat O'Brien, CBS Sports.
He is an extremely high-class athlete.
No doubt about that. But, you know, one of the things that I appreciate most when you see athletes go after each other in a championship battle is the mutual respect they gain from one another.
Exactly. All right, Irvin, I want to remind everybody that coming up, we have got 2 fights that you might want to remember here on CBS Sports Saturday. In 3 weeks, you're going to see Sean O'Grady, who was recently stripped of one of the lightweight championships of the world, in the ring against Howard Davis. Now, Davis was one of the United States stars at the Montreal Olympics, but he did not soar to the top as many expected. That should be a very entertaining fight. Again, in 3 weeks, it will be Sean O'Grady against Howard Davis. Then in 4 weeks, you'll see one of those Olympics champions who did get to the top. Michael Spinks, the younger brother of Leon, who of course is now the WBC light heavyweight champion of the world. He'll be in the ring here on CBS Sports Saturday against Von Zell Johnson. 2 fights, write them down. 3 weeks it's O'Grady, 4 weeks Michael Spinks. Now let's send you back to the stadium and the game you're enjoying here on CBS.
There's our score at halftime. 14-all in San Diego Stadium. We'll be back with more of this game after this word from your local station.
Tonight at Archie Bunker's place, is it romance for Archie's niece and accountant?
Wouldn't it be wonderful if they fell in love?
No. And on the season premiere of One Day at a Time, when Alex moves in with Ann and Barbara, can they survive? Then on Alice, can Vera break the world's tap dancing record with help from Donald O'Connor? And on the Jeffersons, George comes up with a scheme to get the kids talking again. Huh?
What?
On Trapper John, an addicted newborn leads to a discovery.
This is what we call a black market baby ring.
5 all-new episodes coming your way tonight.
This is CBS.
We have a 14-14 game here between San Diego and Minnesota, but we have some real surprises. You might even call them some shocks throughout the National Football League today.
Yeah, there's some real surprises, especially the fact that Oakland gets shut out for the 3rd straight week in a row.
Well, let's take a look, Freddie, at some of the things that have happened. Your old team, the Los Angeles Rams, won a big one today, handing Atlanta their 3rd straight setback.
First of all, I'm surprised in 2 areas that number one, that Atlanta would lose 3 games in a row. And number 2, that my friend Pat Hayden was injured in that game. I hate to see that. He is such a good guy that he needs a couple of opportunities to stay healthy and show the people what he can do.
Pat Hayden out with a contusion of his leg. In that game, Leroy Irvin went 84 yards with a punt return. And the final was 37-35 in favor of the Rams. And the Rams now are 4-2. Atlanta is 3-3. New Orleans and Philadelphia. The New Orleans Saints, who have won 1 game, had a tough time today against the Eagles, who are the only unbeaten, untied team in the NFL, 31-14.
Yeah,
the Eagles are playing very well.
Yeah, they're playing very well. Plus, they're winning the games that they should win. And good football teams do that, Gary. They take the opportunity to gang up on the Eagles, on the Saints there, and then they punched them out 31-14.
George Rogers had 124 yards in that game. Ron Jaworski, 15 of 28, 207 yards. And Jaworski's improving every year. Now a game of real interest in the AFC Central. Pittsburgh defeated Cleveland. And in that game, Brian Syke was out with a concussion. Paul McDonald had to come in and replace him at quarterback. Pittsburgh, after losing the first 2, they're back to their familiar way of winning.
Yeah, they're 4-2 now, and more importantly, they beat Cleveland, who is, I think, the #1 nemesis in their division. And losing Brian Syke, if you have a concussion, it's one thing to get knocked out of a game, but when you have a concussion, it affects you for several weeks, and a quarterback to have a concussion, that's a dangerous injury to that team.
And in that division now, Cleveland is 2-4. The other 3 teams in the Central Division are 4-2. New England and the Jets. New England is hard to figure out. The Jets, likewise, they've started coming back as they won it 28-24.
That was at New York, and I'm really surprised. There's got to be something going on here in New England. I don't understand that.
All right, a game that certainly affects this division that Minnesota's in. Tampa Bay winning today. They'll remain in first place, maybe by themselves, depending the outcome of this game, as they were tied with Minnesota. Doug Williams had 167 yards in that game. Okay, Washington, Joe Gibbs winning his first game 24-7.
Yeah, he's a Don Coryell disciple. It's about time they got things going back there.
Listen to this. Walter Payton had 5 carries for 5 yards. Cincinnati over Baltimore. And I'll tell you, the job that Forrest Gregg is doing for the Bengals, that may be one of the biggest surprises of the year, the way they're rolling.
Well, they got the new helmets. That'll help them.
Houston, with a 35-17 win. They're 4-2 now in that Central Division. The Snake had 3 touchdown passes, 2 of them to Campbell, 2 of them to Ken Burrows. And Kansas City, Oakland. Well, wait a minute. Yeah, here we go. 27-0. Now listen to this. The last time a team was shut out 3 consecutive times, I can't believe the statistic. 1943, the old Brooklyn Dodgers of the old NFL.
And Al Davis, he'll break records left and right, won't he?
That's an incredible thing. Now, Detroit leading Denver, and of course, Denver is tied with San Diego in the AFC West. And in that game, Denver had the lead early, and then Detroit came roaring back. Billy Sims scored on a 48-yard touchdown run, a 1-yard run. Morton threw a 40-yard touchdown pass, but the difference is a 55-yard interception return by Alvin Hall.
That's about as many points as I've seen in the first half scored on Denver this year.
Well, the Giants lost to Green Bay. Figure it out. St. Louis beat Dallas. Now, who's winning? The Giants are winning this week. And the Giants have a field goal of 41 yards from Danilo Phil Sims with 2 touchdown passes. And San Francisco at half was leading Dallas 24-7. We'll be back with this game all tied up.
This isn't just my job, it's my life. For me, nothing comes close. Nothing comes close to my skull either. I just take a little pinch and put it between my cheek and gum. Sure feels good. I think going smokeless is the only way to go. And for me, Earl Campbell, this is the only way to spend an afternoon. Let's go, brother.
Enjoy tobacco without lighting up. Try Skoal, Copenhagen, or Happy Days. A pinch is all it takes.
Hey, look at that. It's a chainsaw. Uh-oh, somebody must have left it. Probably taking a coffee break. It's a McCulloch Mac 110. It's got automatic oiling. That's slick. This here's the chain brake safety feature. Yeah? Stops the chain in less than 1/10 of a second. That's fast. Can you believe it cost only $89.95? That is a good deal. Mm-hmm.
McCulloch, the lowest price chainsaw with chain brake. Only $89.95.
That McCulloch's got just about everything. Yeah, but I bet it can't swim. Good point.
McCulloch, in the yellow pages, under saws.
At Transamerica, we're out to make your life a little brighter with loans from Transamerica Financial.
Last call for flight 1.
With low-cost international flights from Transamerica Airlines. And even with machines from Transamerica de Laval that help light up whole cities.
First-rate service at a fair price. Transamerica.
14-all, Minnesota, San Diego, as the Chargers meeting this ball club from the NFC Central Division for the 4th time in the history of these 2 franchises. We want to take a look now at the highlights, the scoring highlights. The first one was set up after a 36-yard interception by Big Hands Johnson. Chuck Muncie taking it in.
Yeah, it's very important here. This really helped the momentum of San Diego. After you get a good defensive play like that, you really want to capitalize right off the bat and get the ball in the end zone.
Then the Vikings came back to tie it up, and what a remarkable play Ricky Young made on this pass.
I'll tell you, when I see something like this, it reminds you of Gale Sayers of old. Watch 32. He doesn't even move, but he still gets by him. That's a great effort by Ricky Young.
And Young took it in. It was 7-7 at that stage. And the Vikings then were able to take the lead on this pass from Kramer to Ted Brown.
Yeah, I think this is a drop coverage right here, Gary. And falling into the end zone, he had to come out of the game for a little cramp.
But then Fouts put it up, and 60 yards later, Scales scored.
It's amazing. Look at that pass. We thought it was a blimp going up. This is an excellent play, excellent concentration on Dwight's part.
And that's the reason that San Diego is such a threat, because Fouts has those people who will go after the football. There's evidence there by Dwight Scales.
Right.
I don't think anything surprised us in this first half, has it?
I don't think so. Both teams started out slow. It was only 7-7 at the end of the first half. A lot of people expected to be 20-0 or 20-20 at the end of the first quarter or first half. But both teams, like I said, I think the best football is ahead of us.
That's the thing about San Diego. They have been a slow starting team many times. But interesting point that was made yesterday is the Vikings kind of like to play catch-up football, too. They don't like to have that lead like last week.
They've won a lot of games in the last 2 minutes of a lot of games.
We're ready to go in the second half. Bernershka kicking off. Marty McDowell fumbles the ball. McDowell playing in place of the injured Eddie Payton, and he's going to make it out to the 15, and that's all. Marty McDowell. Tell you, when Payton goes down, they have a lot of people they have to come in with, both punt and kickoff returns. Payton had the ice on the knee in the first half. We will not see him the rest of the afternoon.
I think Hank Bauer is a little shaken up. He's had a lot of duty today running down on kicks.
Hank Bauer, who has sparse hair on top, I guess you'd say he's bald-headed, has gone down there every time and just kamikaze style. What an interesting guy he is.
It'll be interesting to see now the type of offense Kramer brings out of his own territory here.
And from the 15-yard line, Sammy White goes in motion, 14 all our score. Kramer scrambling around, gets it off to Sammy White. White makes a major league move out to the 24-yard line, a couple of yards short. And again, Kramer negated the rush by moving around.
He moves around just enough to give himself some opportunity to see his coverage and to throw the football. It's a pass all the way. He's not going anywhere. He gets good pass blocking up front, takes a look to the right. He sees Louis coming in here and then scrambles around just to get in the open area and sees his guy down the field and gets the ball over to Sammy.
Sammy White did a good job after that, picking up 9 yards. It'll be second down 1 from the 24-yard line. This Minnesota team trying to fight out of a bad field position as we start the second half. Kramer to Ted Brown, and he's not going to get the first down. Louis Kelcher. You can hear the crowd. Louis.
There they go for Louis. Yeah, that's his territory.
He came back from a severe knee injury last year, and what makes it so remarkable, both he and Russ Washington, is they're such huge men. That's hard to rehabilitate a knee.
Yeah, that's a credit to the doctors, a credit to the rehabilitation, and above all, it's a credit to the people who fight back through all of the hardships that injuries give you.
He's been in the Pro Bowl 3 of the last 4 years. Third down, still a yard to go for Minnesota. Kramer with time, lots of time. And he can't find anybody open. Ted Brown was the man he threw to, but he didn't want to go there.
Yeah, I think Tommy might have had, from my angle up here, Tommy might have had a little bit of trouble seeing over Louis.
And so the drive stalls. The Vikings will have to kick the football. That's one of the few times that their initial series didn't pick up some ground for him. And now back to kick will be Greg Coleman. Wes Chandler deep for San Diego. Just underway in the second half. Freddie Dreyer and Gary Bender with you. And what a game we have unfolding here. Coleman hits a very high kick. Chandler fair catch at the 32-yard line. So at the 32, San Diego will trot out their team. The Era Coryell machinery will be put into motion. And a nervous Minnesota defense sets up. They escaped unscathed in the waning seconds of that first half. And now they're put to the test again. There's Don Coryell. Coryell in his 4th year. He took over the final 12 games 4 years ago and has won division titles the last 2 years. Chuck Muncie. Muncie's got a block. And he moves across the 35 to the 37. Kellen Winslow threw the block for the play, and it'll bring up a second down and 3 yards to go.
Gary, he had they came out with 2 tight ends on the line of scrimmage that time.
Well, they use Severs a lot. They really like him. 4th-round draft pick out of Maryland. It was a real find for him. Big guy, 6'4", 234 pounds.
They like his blocking, that's for sure.
He was in a run-oriented offense at Maryland. Didn't really catch that many passes. Second down. Let's make it 4 yards to go. Fouts to Muncie. Muncie with Duck White on him. That'll be 2 yards short of the first down at the 40 and bring up a 3rd down.
You know, by using two tight ends, it gets the linebackers out of the middle and on to the tight ends themselves. So it occupies a lot of people. And by running the football, especially Chuck up the middle, he may be able to break into the open there in the secondary.
You played both these teams in the preseason. Did you get any notions about them at that time, or does the preseason tell you that much?
It doesn't tell you that much, really. I mean, everybody's playing everybody in preseason, so you just have to wait till the season starts.
From the 40-yard line, third down, a long two. Joyner, he had to wait on the ball. He got it, first down. Covering was Willie Teal. That ball was just a little underthrown, but they got it there anyway.
Those receivers do a great job. Here's Joyner going down. He's reading as he's going. Makes the break and goes to the open area. He goes behind the linebackers and in front of Willie Teal. Great play.
Again, a possession-type receiver. The excellent patterns being run by Charlie Joyner. Now Ken Sanders has come into defensive end. Mark Mullaney comes out. First down, short of the 40. Ken Sanders, a former Detroit Lion. Fouts, far side, Scales. He's hit immediately by Turner. Turner converging in a hurry. And Turner now playing that cornerback spot full time. He was the man last year who had 6 interceptions to lead the team, which tied him for 4th in the NFC. And there is Scales out of Grambling. Scales from Grambling was a teammate of Sammy White at that time.
I think everybody somewhere down the line is related. You know that?
Related or teammates anyway. Yeah. Outs, 12 of 23, 184 yards. Next Sunday, St. Louis, Atlanta. The Cardinals struggling today against the Giants. Second down, 7. Muncy breaks the tackle. 25, 20. Muncy to the 15. Got Muncy with Willie Teal eventually making the stop. Dwight Scales a little shaken up on the play as he was throwing a block for him.
Dwight Scales is very impressive. Wilkerson comes out and really puts one on the cornerback, and Chuck does a great job of getting by hand, and he cuts upfield. And when he gets square upfield, he is powerhouse. It's just a great play.
Look at that big hand, how wrapped it is, a fractured left hand. He had that out in front.
That doesn't seem to hurt his running, does it?
22-yard pickup. Muncy now with 47 yards. Fouts. Joyner had it for a moment and then was really belted. Hit by Studwell, 55. Scott Studwell really belted it.
Fouts had to pick himself up off the ground on that one. He really took a shot.
Charlie Joyner's not all that big. Studwell weighs 224. The reason he was drafted so low, he was a defensive lineman in college. Weighed about 260 pounds, so he's really gotten the weight down.
You know, as we said earlier in the first half, they send everybody out of the backfield. What it does is it leaves Fouts vulnerable to get hit from the blind side.
And he did there. 2nd and 10 from the 15. Fouts now going to be sacked. Outside the 20 to the 21. That's the first sack for the Vikings. And is their 10th of the year. Matt Blair got it.
Blair did a great job of coming on the 34. Fouts drops back and is looking to his left. Doesn't even see Blair really, but he held the ball a little bit too long. That's a credit to the secondary for the good coverage they had.
So that's the 10th sack that the Chargers have given up, and his 10 sacks that Minnesota's picked up this season. Ross back outside of the 21. Bud Grant just very casually standing over there.
I can't believe it. There could be a typhoon coming through, and he wouldn't bother him at all.
3rd down and 15. Fouts. And Scales, the intended receiver, he had gotten away from John Turner. And now Rolf Bernerska, who missed a 31-yard attempt in the waning seconds of the first half, will have another one to attempt. He missed a 30-yarder earlier this year against Kansas City. Now a 31-yarder, and this looks like this will be from 39 yards away.
Yeah, Rolf doesn't miss very often, and the interesting thing about his personality and his type of person he is, he's completely recovered now from the Crohn's disease he had, and his father, who works for the San Diego Zoo, and he set up a little program where it's kicks for critters. Every point that he makes, including those 3 right there.
And he has it. That's his 6th field goal of the year. A 39-yarder. Rolf Bernerska and the San Diego Chargers with a 17-14 lead.
past into 1,000 tomorrows comes a car made of the right stuff. The 1982 Toyota Celica, aerodynamically conceived to be efficient, not just different. Its new wedge shape with retractable headlights cheats the wind for a performance not even reached in many sports cars. The 1982 Toyota Celica, the right stuff for the right time, right now. Celica.
Taste the high country.
It is an unforgiving wilderness tamed by forgiving men.
Taste the high country.
They are us, and we are them.
Taste Coors.
It is for men like them we brew our beer. The only one brewed up here. Coors is brewed with pure Rocky Mountain spring water. Fresh taste that satisfies every day.
Taste the high country.
There is a time for work, a time for play.
Taste Coors.
Mac Davis and Barbara Mandrell welcome Dolly Parton, Emmylou Harris, and Mickey Gilley to the Country Music Awards, Monday at 9:30, 8:30 Central and Mountain.
San Diego now with the three-point lead.
Don Coryell is 3 points ahead. He's really encouraging his people on the sideline. His defense is going to have to go out there and get the ball back for his offense. And Don really senses a change in the game as the ball drops off.
You built the scene. You had it ready to go. I know as an actor, you had the timing perfect, but the ball had to blow off, right?
Well, that just goes to show you, doesn't it?
You know, Coryell is so intense. When he was coaching in St. Louis one time, they were playing Washington. He was so excited before they came out, he couldn't even express himself. He just turned around and started kicking the wall with his feet.
Oh, he was the same way in college. He's a very, very intense man. He's on the third ring of Saturn right about now.
He's where?
Third ring of Saturn.
Okay. Nershka will kick off. Marty McDowell. McDowell out to the 15 and dancing around, and we have a flag at the 24-yard line. I would imagine Bud Grant would want McDowell to head up the field a little quicker as he's doing a little dancing back there.
The one thing that really drives coaches crazy is that guys get back there and don't bring the ball up the field soon enough to suit the coach. Although he's not the guy with the ball, the guy who has the ball should try to bring the ball up the field as soon as he can.
Now, Minnesota is kind of cornered. They have a penalty on this play that's going to back them up. They've been scored upon. They trail. Bad field position. Kramer's going to have to really draw all these resources now.
You're absolutely right, Gary. This is very important, this drive. If San Diego can get the ball back within good field position, it could be a turning point in the game.
A holding call against Minnesota moves the ball back to the 8-yard line. 9.5 minutes to go in this third quarter. There's the last drive, the 39-yard field goal. There's Muncy.
Chuck may have wrenched his lower back a little bit. I think that's all that is.
On the 8-yard line, Kramer comes out throwing Rashad. Look at this move by Rashad. Woo! He breaks tackles, and that gets him out of a very precarious situation to the 25. Lyndon King with the tackle.
Boy, that's a great play. That's a smart play by Kramer. A real quick setup, and gets the ball over the open spot of the field to his best receiver, Rashad, and just watch the guy go from there. He's great with it after he catches the ball.
People forget that he was a running back in college. Bobby Moore at the University of Oregon was a teammate of Dan Fouts. A gain out to the 25, and now the Vikings with their initial first down of the second half. Trailing 17-14. Kramer now 15 to 25. He hits Ricky Young, and Bob Horn hits him. But a gain to the 32, a gain of 7, 2nd and 3.
You didn't get to see it. Well, here's Chuck Muncy getting his back worked on again. Jimmy Hammond with the big beard up there overseeing things. I think he just got a little bit of a spasm, that's all.
Boy, it's all right. You have your own masseuse or masseur that comes along during the game and just a little back rub. You guys got it too easy now.
Oh, yeah, martinis and the whole works down there.
From the 32, 2nd and 3. Rashad and White split out. Kramer on the play action. Joe Sensor, and Sensor was covered very well by Lyndon King. You know, Kramer now is testing his knee. Did he hurt his knee?
You know, I think what it is his brace on his left knee may be giving him some problems. He's trying to adjust the thing. He feels confident that while wearing that brace, nothing can happen to him. So I think he's okay. It's just the fact he has to straighten that brace out every once in a while.
Now, he hurt the knee. As you look at the comparative stats, in the last preseason game, he missed the first two. Steve Dills went then, and Dills is out now with a shoulder operation. They only have one other quarterback. That's Wade Wilson, a rookie. Third down, 3. The Vikings need to convert. 8:08 to go in the third quarter. Kramer rolling around. Sensor! Oh, what a catch! What a catch by Sensor. First down at the 45. Kramer just waited for him to break open and tossed it over the defender.
That's right. He just sprinted out to his right and just waited for Joe to break under and get open. Joe ran down. Kramer looks at Joe all the way here. He's just waiting for him right there, just waiting for him to make a break, and he does. And later on downfield gets in front of him. I'll tell you, Joe Sensor is a real big help to this ball club.
He now has 7 catches for 100 yards. That is a career high for this young man who comes from Westchester State. A former basketball player. And what a performer he's going to be.
He's really been a big surprise for these people. They never thought to use their tight end that much.
From the 45, first down, Kramer gives off to Ricky Young. Maybe a yard, 2 at the most. Bob Horn again making the stop for San Diego. Kramer is still limping around at that leg. I don't know if he got hit. The brace, what it really does for you, as you well know, Fred, is it keeps you from having your leg folded from the side.
Right. Now, I don't see anybody loosening up on the sideline over there, so I don't think they're worried about him very much.
They have Wade Wilson, a rookie out of East Texas State, their 8th-round draft pick, who's thrown 11 passes. Second down and 9. A reverse to Terry LeCount. Oh, Johnson is blocked by Dennis Swilley. He could go. He's down to the 25 and out of bounds. Big Hands Johnson got hit by Dennis Swilley, blind side, and both men get up just kind of groggy.
This is an important drive for these people. That was a very well-executed play because it took an awful lot of time to develop. Here it is again, a quick toss to Brown. He gives it back off. Who is that?
Oh, that's Terry LeCount.
Terry LeCount. And does a great job of tucking the way and going on there. Pete Shaw coming over to help.
Who is that man? LeCount, a former quarterback in college, ran well on that play. Kramer, wide open. LeCount, he's going to take it in. What happened on that play? Nobody seemed to be ready for it.
I don't know what happened.
It looked like San Diego was caught napping on the play.
Somebody went to sleep out there. I thought nighttime was for sleeping.
LeCount was so open, it was incredible.
Oh, Kramer, he was his primary receiver right from the beginning there. And Pete, I tell you what, Pete Shaw just, somebody went to sleep over there.
It looked like they weren't even ready for the snap of the ball.
I don't think they were, no. This is a great drive. This is very, very important for these people.
20-17, Dan Meyer, the point after attempt. It's the kind of game we expected. And we haven't been disappointed.
What this drive does is now make it more than a 3-point game. Now San Diego, here it is. He just lofts it over there and lets LeCount run underneath it. I'll tell you, that's a great play. Heads-up play by Minnesota.
The Vikings now with a 21-17 lead.
When I found out how affordable Michelin radials were, I thought they were putting me on. Well, as it turns out, I'm putting them on.
I came in here expecting only to have enough for my second choice, but he put me on to Michelin for about the same price.
If anyone tells you Michelin quality is too expensive, they're putting you on. Price Michelins. Only our standards are high.
I found out Michelin prices are really competitive. So that's what I'm putting on.
Michelin. We put America on radials.
I'm Joe Duncan, State Farm agent, Cincinnati, Ohio, speaking for thousands of State Farm agents around the country. You know, there are a lot of reasons why people come to State Farm agents and stick with State Farm agents year after year. I think one of the big reasons is service. State Farm built its reputation on service. People expect it, they are paying for it, and we deliver.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Deep in the
Kicking off will be Rick Danmeyer, the Minnesota Vikings, with a 92-yard drive, a 26-yard touchdown pass from Tommy Kramer to Terry LeCount. A game that's lived up to all its billing thus far. Danmeyer going to be short. Pete Shaw is going to bring it out. Shaw getting to the far side. Oh, is he hit though at the 25-yard line? Randy Holloway, who on a couple of those kickoffs has come down and made excellent plays.
Randy Holloway is their 4th defensive lineman. He's also another #1 draft choice. The Vikings have 4 #1 draft choices as defensive linemen, and Randy shows great flexibility and mobility for a big guy.
Boy, that drive. Look at this. I just can't believe it. 38-7. I don't think Dallas has been beaten like that since they lost 38-0 to St. Louis.
That's real impressive, yeah.
Ball at the 25-yard line. First down. San Diego. 21-17 Minnesota. Fouts to Chuck Muncie. Muncie with a cast. Hangs on. Breaks the tackle. McNeil knocks him out of bounds. First down for the Chargers.
Chuck Muncie coming out of the backfield. He doesn't have to use that broken hand on that catch, you see. That's his other hand.
Boy, I tell you, though, look at that. I don't know how in the world. You know, you've got to be sure you're carrying that ball in the right arm, obviously.
Now there's his right leg they're working on, and it looks as though that's not the knee that's hurt, no.
First down, Fouts. Broken up. That was Duck White, and almost intercepting was Matt Blair. Let's go back to Kramer again.
Tommy, it looks as though Tommy's got cramps. Now, the way they're working on him, I would assume that's what the problem is there. It doesn't look like they're too worried about him. I don't see anybody loosening up over there.
You got to understand, Fred, when you come from the cold North Country, you're not used to warm weather.
That's what Bud would have you believe.
So the cramps giving them some difficulty. Second down, 10 from the 39-yard line. 6:05 left to play in the third quarter. Fouts. Trying to make the catch is Chandler. Willie Teal defending on the play. And it comes to a third down. Some people may have counted the Vikings out early when they were 0-2. But after winning 3 in a row and the way they're playing today, they're a fine team.
They really are. They've surprised me, to be honest with you. I think they're really playing well.
Bud Grant, one of the outstanding coaches in the history of this game. 14 years, he's picked up 134 victories, and today trying to get another one. 6 minutes exactly left in the third quarter as they bring Chandler, Joyner to the bottom, split out. Fouts on 3rd and 10. Pressure put on. Open is Chandler. Teal tries to corral him and does at the 42. Boy, Fred, is he dangerous when he gets that ball in the open field.
I'll tell you something. And you'll see it here. A slot formation. Joyner goes in. And Chandler goes right to the open spot again. We've been talking about it all day. Right between the zones where the secondary, the linebackers are. There's a big gap in there, and that's where he goes to get the ball.
21-yard pickup to the 40-yard line of Minnesota. The Chargers trying to retake the lead. Fouts to Muncie. Muncie carrying that ball in the good right hand inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. Gain of 3. It'll be second down and 7.
I think Fred McNeil did a real good job of getting up the field and turning Chuck back on that.
Chuck Muncie, who fractured the hand in the Denver game, did not play last week. He had a career-high 161 yards, which he also had with New Orleans. But New Orleans' record was broken this year by the rookie George Rogers, their #1 draft pick. Second down, a long 7. Fouts to Joyner. Joyner stays on his feet. Touchdown.
There's that play right between Willie Teal and Tommy Hannon. And I'll tell you, Charlie just goes down the field and has a sense for when to break between the two defenders. And Fouts has a good feel for his receivers. Danny looking right to him right now. Just loads the ball and gets it right in the open area. He threw the ball while Charlie was open, and as the ball got to him, here it is again. He goes down, makes the break, looks inside, and right away for the ball. Did you see him look inside there? He knew the ball was coming to him.
38-yard touchdown strike. Bernurska on the point after attempt. He gets it up and high and through the uprights. And now it's a 3-point lead for San Diego.
You know, that's just not an automatic point for Rolf. I'll tell you one thing, Blair does a great job of blocking kicks. He's got 16 of them, and he does a great job of blocking those extra points.
And they've had 50 since 1976.
We're torturing this 1982 American Motors Concord to make a point about warranties.
The American Motors Buyer Protection Plan includes the only full warranty in the industry, covering every part for 12 months or 12,000 miles, even if it just wears out. The limited warranties from all other car makers don't give you that kind of protection. The tough Americans can back their high-mileage Concord like no other car because Concord can take it.
Now up to $795 rebates on new Concords direct from American Motors.
Hey, Frank, gonna wager on the race? For a case of beer? Sure. What's your brand?
These boats will cover 200 miles before this wager's settled, but it's worth the wait, because it's for Michelob Light, that rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
You never beat us that bad before.
We never raced for a whole case of Michelob Light before. Michelob Light. Compare the taste.
We welcome the viewers of that Dallas-San Francisco game to San Diego Stadium. 24-21, the Chargers have just taken the lead on a 38-yard touchdown pass. This is Marty McDowell for the Minnesota Vikings, bringing the ball out to the 26-yard line. Just a moment ago, Charlie Joyner with the touchdown catch.
Here you see Fouts dropping back, looking right to Charlie right away. Charlie comes down, clears out, and looks right inside for the ball. He knew he was going to get it. Does a great job getting between Hannon and the second receiver. Who in the heck was that? Tommy Hannon and Willie Teal, I believe.
At the 26, thus far in this game, San Diego with 251 yards of offense. Minnesota 244. The ball at the 26-yard line. Kramer just a moment ago took the Vikings 90 yards, scoring on a touchdown pass to get the lead. Now they've lost it again. A seesaw affair. The Vikings with the #1 offense in the NFC. Kramer to Ted Brown. Brown's in a foot race to the 40, 35, 30. Brown to the 20. He's all the way to the 10. And all of a sudden the Vikings are roaring right back. Wyatt Henderson made the stop, as this Minnesota team just won't give up.
I'm telling you, I think we've only just begun, as the song goes. We've got an awful lot of football left, and I think we've got an awful lot of more points to be scored. Here's Tommy. Did you see Teddy coming out of the backfield, raising his hand? That helps the quarterback. And he just does a great job of getting the ball, and just the rest, he's on his own.
Well, he's having some problems with leg cramps again, but he went 64 yards. I guess that would give you a leg cramp.
You see his right leg right there, how it's wrapped up. That's just to help him and give him a little bit of support in that area.
Gary Bender with Fred Dreyer with 3:29 to go in this third quarter. Brown, you see his stats for the day as far as receiving is concerned. Tony Galbraith has replaced him, and that's Galbraith with the ball. Woodrow Lowe made the stop at the 10-yard line. This game at halftime was tied 14-all. Both teams have come back after the Chargers kicked a field goal to score touchdowns.
This is a great way for my indoctrination. I'm really enjoying this.
Fred joining our CBS broadcast crew for the first time, and you picked a good one.
That's Brad. He's listening to his offensive coordinator up in the booth. He looks pretty calm. I think nothing seems to bother him.
Second down, 10. Kramer, 308 yards passing in this game. Broken up. We've had 4 of those today. The on-rushing lineman getting the hands up. That will break it up and come to a third down now for Minnesota. That was Woodcock, the former Detroit Lion.
Yeah, he's not playing like a tackle. He's playing like one of those swift defensive ends over there.
The man they acquired from the Lions for a 12th round draft pick. He has taken the position of Fred Dean, who was traded to San Francisco. Of course, people watching that Dallas-San Francisco game, what a shock that has been. Outside the 10-yard line now, third down. They could get, well, they actually will have to score. They cannot get a first and goal inside the goal line. Third down, 10. White, Rashad, split out. Kramer back, Sensor, beautifully. Willie Buchanan, who has an interception for the day.
Boys, Joe Sensor is outraged. You can't believe it. I think what happened is the defender, he feels the defender grabbed his arm prematurely. I'm not too sure he's not right. Let's take a look at it. Kramer looking right over for Joe, dumps the ball over. He thinks he's got him. Oh, it's tough to tell. Yeah, he may have done that. He may be right. Willie Buchanan defending on the play.
Sensor has 7 catches for 100 yards. And now Dan Meyer, who this year has been superb, hitting 9 of 10 field goals. This is going to be a 29-yard attempt. Trying to tie it up. 2:39 to go, third quarter. Dan Meyer's kick is on the way. And we're even. It's all even again. 24 all. Dan Meyer has hit 10 of 11 field goals. A 28-yarder is what it officially is given. And this game, what a game it has been.
Victoria, darling, my heart.
Stop, camera. Wash the suit.
Wash the suit?
It's the Hager washable suit in Visa Fabrics, made a new way to be machine washed and dried.
And action.
Victoria, my...
Cut. I don't believe it.
The Hager washable suit is guaranteed to keep its great looks and fit for its normal life or your money back. The Hager washable suit. Guaranteed wash after wash after wash.
At JCPenney Auto Centers, we won't steer you wrong. We will steer you to the amazing JCPenney Mileage Maker XP all-season steel-belted radial for great traction in any road conditions. And right now, save $28 to $68 on a set of 4. The Mileage Maker XP with the unique interlock block tread. Season in, season out. The only tire you need. Only at JCPenney.
JCPenney.